Hi, my name's Sean Decker, and I am the Vice President of EA's Play4Free.
Electronic Arts presses into Play4Free or free-to-play. So do you think it's just a change of player basis, or is it a change of generation so that only younger players don't want to spend or buy any games anymore?
I think it's general. I mean, so in the business space, you find a lot of different microtransactions, or honestly, almost free-to-play in terms of, whether I'm, buying pay-per-view movies for my cable company, or, I'm getting on an airline and I want a meal, so I pay extra for it, or things like that. I think it's actually, different companies giving their consumers choices, and that's what free-to-play is for games.
So you're introducing a free-to-play option for Star Wars: The Old Republic this fall, and is it a long-term plan or a strategic plan, or was it just, okay, we have to do it because we're losing subscribers?
So actually I can't talk about Star Wars. We have so you can talk to Shirley about anything with Star Wars, but I can't talk about it.
Okay, let's skip this one. Electronic Arts is well known for a long-time publisher and developer of AAA games, and so do you think in a couple of years the Play4Free part of the company will be much bigger than the old part with buy-to-play games?
I think there would be a mixed bag when you come along. Again, it comes down to what the consumers want. Consumers tell us they want free-to-play games, we'll make more free-to-play games. If consumers tell us we want to buy, all in, I pay one price and I get everything, then we'll probably do that. At the end of the day, I think that EA's showing its commitment to digital, though, and to having direct relationships with the consumers and our players, and those long-term relationships by going digital. But whether how the consumers actually purchase games or consume games, I think it's up to the consumers.
I know you're not allowed to talk about Star Wars: The Old Republic, but it's a AAA game. Are you planning to have more AAA titles like this game in your portfolio?
So I don't know if you heard, but today we just announced that we're putting out Command & Conquer on the Frostbite 2 engine for a free-to-play game. So we've got a top-tier franchise, one of the most storied franchises EA has, on Frostbite 2. Battlefield 3 was just delivered on the Frostbite 2 engine. So again, I'd say that's a pretty AAA, experience going out on free-to-play.
Definitely. So what is the share of the earnings of free-to-play compared to the other games at the moment?
So we don't break that out, actually.
Okay.
No.
Let's talk about the games you already have. So I know, of course, Battlefield Heroes. I know this CNC game you already had. And so what is your most interesting title next to those titles we mentioned, Star Wars and CNC?
So I think it really depends upon territories, actually. So certain countries do better with other ones. So in Germany, as an example, Need for Speed is a fantastic game, and people love to drive very fast and have awesome cars. Whereas in, say, someplace like Russia, some of our shooters do much better, or in Brazil, the same thing. Some of our strategy MMO games do quite well in Germany and the Eastern Europe, so Poland, Turkey, things like that. So it really depends upon which country, and again, it's different consumers looking for different experiences.
There are virtually masses of free-to-play games coming every year by now, so most from China, South Korea. Do you think this is in this extreme hard competition, how will you outweigh the mass with class?
Absolutely. I think this is great for consumers, because at the end of the day, for anybody to stand out, they have to have a great game. They have to have something that looks fantastic, and the second I get in, I get a great experience. I'm having a lot of fun with it. And if I don't get that, I'm just going to leave, and I'm going to go try, as you said, one of the other mass games out there. So the competition will push people to get better and better games out there, better looking games, better playing games, games that entertain me for long periods of time. And if you can't do that, you're going to lose out.
But aren't you getting into competition with your own brands, on the other hand, where you have buy-to-play?
So we honestly thought that to begin with. We were a little bit worried about that. And so a perfect example is we have Battlefield 3 and then we have Battlefield Play4Free. And Battlefield Play4Free came out before Battlefield 3. And we were really worried about, okay, Battlefield 3 is going to come out. It's all going to disappear. You know, one of them is going to go down. There's going to be a problem. What we found out was consumers were playing both. They would play, so a lot of consumers would play Battlefield 3 at home, at night, on the weekends, or things like that. But during the day, when they were at school or work or whatever, they would be playing Battlefield Play4Free. So we actually found that all of them continue to play, and that there was a lot of basically cooperation between them. It's kind of like movies versus TV. You don't just do one or the other. You spend time kind of based upon what you want to do at that particular moment. So if you're at home, whereas you're going to watch TV, or hey, maybe it's a night out with friends or family, and we're going to watch TV or watch a movie. So it's different needs for the consumers.
Sticking to Battlefield 3, so is this kind of strategic plan for you in the future to develop free-to-play and buy-to-play titles parallel to each other, even in similar or in the same brand?
Well, absolutely. We absolutely have different offerings for consumers, whether it's free-to-play or purchasing at a store or digitally. We'll continue to do that, absolutely. We think, again, giving the consumer as many choices as possible, as long as consumers ask for something, we'll probably deliver.
So it's not only the last resort for you doing a free-to-play if nothing else goes?
No, I think Command & Conquer announced today is a perfect example. It's a game that just, we've decided this is a free-to-play Frostbite to AAA game, and we're going to put it out on free-to-play.
What is your expectations to the market in, let's say, 5 years or something?
In terms of a balance, I think that free-to-play will take a much larger share, because I think it is a great model where players get a lot of choice. So I think that that's going to take a bigger chunk. I also think that consumers will go more direct to game companies. I think consumers want that relationship, and I know the game companies want it, because we want to make sure that we get the feedback directly and understand what our consumers want and are able to develop our games and continue the game as a service, as opposed to necessarily just putting a game out once a year, getting some feedback and taking another year to do a game.
Yesterday I had a discussion with my boss about game designs, and he said a good game don't have to be necessarily complex with a lot of features and extremely innovative, so it can be easy and have huge success. Let's have a look at the Dota games. It's pretty easy. The game rules are easy. It's always the same map. So if you have this in mind, to make a good game, it's pretty easy for now. So the competition on the market will be even harder in the future, because a game developer, when the tech level rises, it's not hard for them to make good games. What do you think about this when you think of the future of a company, to have the edge before those people who make cheap games in masses?
I would hate to disagree with your boss, but I disagree with your boss. So when it comes to Dota, I'm sorry, but that is a fantastic game, basically. Yes, it only has one map, but the complexities involved in it. And if you play in the ranked planes, oh my God, there are some pretty, strategic players who are brilliant at that game. And to me, it's not a simple game at all. I think, but taking that kind of idea, Bejeweled is a great game. It's fun. It is something that people really love in a certain situation. I have 10 minutes before I'm picking up my daughter from school. What am I going to do? I'm not going to get into a long game. I'm going to maybe play Bejeweled or something like that, where it's fun, it's entertaining, and again, it's not a super complex game, but you have a lot of enjoyment with it, and it fills kind of the experience I want at that point in time. I think another piece to think about is free-to-play games have to get you involved as soon as you get in. We can't take 30 minutes to develop a storyline and kind of introduce you to everything. We need to really get you involved from the second you come in, and at the same time, the complexity has to be there down the road so that you feel there's always something more for you to do as you go along. So that's how kind of generally I would put it.
So my last question would be, we are focused with our magazine on the website on MMOs and RPGs especially, so what can we expect in the near future in Play4Free for those players, for those games?
Again, I think that the free-to-play space will continue to move into higher quality, and I think you'll see a lot more. In the past, you've seen some of the games come out as not free to play, and then moving over to the free to play space. I think a lot more will now start coming out straight up as free to play and offering different places for players. At the same time, I still think that subscriptions and microtransactions can live together. You just have to do it in such a way that people feel that there's value to both of them. Again, my cable company, I subscribe to my cable company, but then I go out and I buy pay-per-view movies from that same cable company. If an RPG or an MMO can find a good way to layer those two together where I feel like, wow, there's something I get every single month for my subscription, but I also want to buy these extra things along the way, you've got it.
But there are no specific titles you have in mind or something what is in production right now?
Not that we'd like to talk about right now.